All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new. Thank you for taking time out of your day to check the video out. We have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and cover here today. So before we dive into the video, if you end up enjoying it or finding it informative, be sure to leave it a like. And if you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button as well. We're talking once again about the PS5 Pro. I'm sure this is going to remain a talking point for quite some time. But what we have now are a bunch of different industry analysts basically weighing in and giving their opinion. And, usually I don't pay too much attention to this, but I think it's pretty relevant here because this is kind of something we haven't really seen in the console space, at least not in the modern console space. So the first report comes from WCCF Tech, and it says gamers were very surprised to learn the price of the PS5 Pro. Rumors suggested it could be around $500, but Sony went much more expensive. It says here, with this massive price hike, will it hurt the sales of the PS5 Pro? We asked our good friend Reese Elliott, a games industry analyst at Media Research. Elliott provided a detailed answer explaining that this is a product for super fans that could, however, still end up selling between 13 and 15 million consoles by the end of this generation. So this is exactly what he had to say. The price point was in line with what I expected, as the PS5 Pro is a premium product for highly engaged fans. But $700 is the ceiling for what Sony is offering here. It's a sweet spot that highly engaged players would be receptive to. These players have shown time and time again that they are willing to pay an extra $200 to complement their experience, say with a high-end controller or PlayStation Portal. Anything higher than $700 would obviously have resulted in even more backlash, however. If PlayStation and Xbox could turn back the clock, they'd probably have raised their base consoles at $600 at launch. Just look at the Xbox's $600 2TB Galaxy Black Edition. While that console has a Blu-ray drive, besides more storage, it essentially has the same specs as the launch Series X. A $100 more PlayStation 5 Pro without a disc drive does not seem outrageously priced next to the Galaxy Black Series X. This is highly dependent on supply, of course, and how well new games implement the new features. But if there are enough PS5 Pros to go around, I could see it selling in line with the PS4 Pro when it's all said and done. Depending on how long the current generation lasts, I wouldn't be surprised to see 13 to 15 million PS5 Pros sold by the end of the generation. Sony's $700 PS5 Pro is for super fans. It won't really grow PlayStation's player base. Still, depending on supply, I expect the PS5 Pro to sell well among this intended audience. It's true that the Pro doesn't have a use case as strong as the PS4 Pros, but it was shrewd of Sony to poke the pain point of having to choose between fidelity and performance modes. A reality for many latest gen console players. That's a value proposition that might even get the fence-sitting super fans to bite. There are also some 50 million PS4 users looking for a reason to upgrade. Some of that group might bite the $700 bullet and enter at the PS5 Pro. Sony would be shrewd to market the console as the best way to play Grand Theft Auto 6 ahead of GTA 6's culture-shaking launch. A Pro bundled with GTA 6 would work even better. Sony released special branded PS4 Pros for the first-party games Spider-Man and third-party ones like Monster Hunter, so we expect a similar strategy for the PS5 Pro. What's more, third-party games including the imminent Assassin's Creed Shadows, Monster Hunter Wilds, and GTA 6 are now launching for the next-gen only. The success of the new-gen only EA Sports College Football 25 has shown just how powerful new-gen games are getting consumers to upgrade. There are reasons for last-generation holdouts to upgrade, and they might land on the slightly more expensive PS5 Pro. The base model will not get a price cut. But the point remains, the PS5 Pro is for the highly engaged enthusiasts. There is a market for it, and a lot of people complaining online simply are not part of that market. All in all, we expect the Pro will have a direct positive impact on hardware sales and will also trickle into software spending. However, the impact will be relatively small overall, and the Pro won't lead to much user acquisition for PlayStation. It will keep those ever-valuable power users more engaged, though, and offers a small window into Sony's technical headspace ahead of the PlayStation 6 generation. So I know that was a long write-up, but I honestly did think it was pretty interesting, right? It's interesting to hear from an analyst whose profession and whose job it is to literally look at stuff like this and give a clear read on what they're seeing. And so, according to this analyst, they believe it's going to do exactly what it's supposed to, which is engage, as he puts it, the super fan, and he expects it to sell anywhere between 13 and 15 million when it's all said and done. We have another analyst, though, kind of chiming in here and letting us know what they think about it. And this is taking a different angle. This analyst believes that the lack of competition from Xbox is what led to Sony charging $700. This is coming from Push Square. It says Pierce Harding Rolls, a games industry analyst for Ampere, says the pricing strategy for the PS5 Pro aligns with Sony's desire to protect its margin, simply meaning it doesn't want to sell the console at a loss. He also cites supply chain inflation and a lack of a direct competitor to its mid-gen cycle upgrade compared to last generation as further reasons for the $700 cost. Harding Rolls is of course referring to the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, competing mid-gen consoles boasting enhanced capabilities over the standard versions. At the time, the PS4 Slim retailed at $299, while the PS4 Pro was $399, a 33% differential. Compare that to the PS5 and PS5 Pro, where there's a larger 40 to 50% differential and no direct competition from Xbox. The lack of competition means it is an easier decision for Sony to run with a higher price point to protect its existing margins. For most prospective PS5 consumers, the standard edition will represent the value sweet spot. Ampere forecasts the PS5 Pro will sell 1.3 million units in the 2024 launch window compared to the 1.7 million managed by the PS4 Pro. We expect the price point to soften demand with some consumers, but for PlayStation enthusiasts, the pricing is less of a consideration. He goes on to predict a forecast of 13 million units sold by the PS5 Pro by 2029, representing roughly 12% of all of PS5's sales. So another analyst chiming in here, but also kind of throwing it in there that they believe Sony went for the $700 because of a lack of direct competition, which wouldn't surprise me. There were rumors that apparently Microsoft was planning a Series Elite console, but it ended up getting canceled. But, you know, you do have to wonder if maybe both of them would have ended up being 700. But this analyst also thinks it's going to land around the 13 million sold mark when it's all said and done. But something else I do want to let you guys know about, it's a little bit, straying a little bit away from talking about what analysts have to say. Apparently, the disk drive for the PlayStation 5 Slim is selling out completely. This is something that a lot of people, I think, have kind of been paying attention to because, I mean, when people realize that you can still use physical discs on the PS5 Pro, but you do need to buy the disk drive separately, people started going out and buying them. And so if you try to buy one right now, they are sold out. And there's no doubt that some of these sales are, people who are going to scalp these things. But I also do think quite a few of these sales are actually from people who are planning to buy a Pro, but also want to make sure that they can use their discs. So definitely interesting. It really is seeming to me like this console, for as much backlash as it's getting, there is a market for it. There are going to be people who buy it and enjoy it, and the price point is not necessarily a problem for them. But yeah, it's just really interesting to see how this all is playing out. And I just wanted to kind of go over what these analysts have to say, because again, it's their job to literally try to project how this is going to play out. We'll have to just kind of monitor this and see what ends up happening. But there you go. Guys, let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. What do you think about what these analysts have to say? And let me know how you're feeling. I think everybody's kind of been letting me know and, expressing how they feel about the PS5 Pro. But I guess I'll ask at this point, how do you think the PS5 Pro is going to do? Not whether or not you're going to get one, but overall, how do you think it's going to do? Let me know down in the comments below. But leave the video a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Hit the bell notification icon. And feel free to share the video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.